The endless void of space stretched before Staff Sergeant Tom Miller's scout ship, broken only by the distant glitter of stars and the occasional flash of light from passing asteroids. He had been patrolling this sector of the outer rim for 3 weeks now, and boredom was starting to set in. The small ship's cabin felt more cramped with each passing day. Another quiet shift, Tom muttered to himself, checking the sensor readings for the 100th time. He ran his hand through his short brown hair, fighting back a yawn. At 32, he was considered one of the more experienced patrol officers in the Human Defense Force. But experience didn't make the lonely shifts any easier. The soft blue glow of the ship's instruments cast shadows across his weathered face as he performed his routine scans. His eyes had just started to drift closed when a sharp beeping jolted him awake. The emergency scanner had picked up something. "Computer, analyze signal," Tom ordered, sitting up straight in his chair. His training kicked in immediately, pushing away any trace of fatigue. Signal analysis complete. The computer responded in its neutral tone. Distress beacon detected. Origin unknown. Signal strength failing. Tom's fingers flew across the control panel, bringing up a detailed map of the local space. The signal was coming from an uncharted asteroid belt, just beyond the normal patrol routes. According to his instruments, the area showed signs of recent activity, energy readings that shouldn't be there. "Computer, full scan of the sector," he commanded, already plotting a course toward the signal. The scout ship's engines hummed to life as he adjusted their heading. As they drew closer to the source, the ship's sensors revealed more details. The asteroid belt was littered with debris. Fresh debris. Tom's eyes narrowed as he recognized the telltale signs of a space battle. Twisted metal fragments floated silently among the asteroids, some still glowing hot from whatever had destroyed them. "This isn't good," Tom said to himself, activating the ship's defensive shields. He may have been in a small scout vessel, but it was equipped with the latest Human Defense Force technology. The ship's stealth systems engaged automatically, making him nearly invisible to most scanning systems. Moving carefully through the debris field, Tom spotted something that made his heart race. Half hidden behind a slowly rotating asteroid was an escape pod, unlike any he had seen before. Its design was completely alien. Smooth, almost organic-looking curves decorated with what appeared to be crystalline formations. But what caught his attention was the failing light pulsing from within. "Computer, scan for life signs," Tom ordered, maneuvering his ship closer to the pod. One life sign detected. Weak but present. Warning: biosignature does not match any known species in database. Tom's mind raced. Protocol dictated that he should call for backup and wait for a proper first contact team to arrive. But the pod's external readings showed its life support systems were critically damaged. Whoever, or whatever, was inside wouldn't survive the hours it would take for backup to arrive. Making a quick decision, Tom activated the ship's docking procedures. "Computer, begin emergency rescue protocols. Prepare medical bay for unknown species." As the scout ship's mechanical arms carefully secured the escape pod, Tom couldn't shake the feeling that this moment would change everything. The pod's surface seemed to shimmer with an inner light as it was drawn into his ship's small cargo bay. Through the internal cameras, he watched as the pod's damaged hull came to rest on the cargo bay floor. Emergency lights cast an eerie glow over its crystalline surface, and for a moment, everything was still. Then the pod's surface began to crack open like a flower blooming in the morning sun, revealing what lay within. Tom's breath caught in his throat as he stared at the monitor. "My God," he whispered. The pod's opening revealed a sight Tom had never imagined in his 15 years of space service. Inside lay a humanoid figure, but one that seemed to be made partly of living crystal. Her skin, if it could be called that, had a translucent quality that caught the light and broke it into rainbow patterns across the cargo bay walls. She wasn't moving. "Computer, run full medical scan," Tom ordered, already grabbing the emergency med kit from its wall mount. The alien's chest moved with shallow breaths, each one seeming more difficult than the last. "Warning," the computer announced. "Subject has multiple severe injuries. Internal bleeding detected. Unusual crystalline biology presents unknown medical challenges. Recommended course. Await specialist medical team." Tom shook his head as he approached the pod. "She'll be dead by then." He knelt beside the unconscious figure, medical scanner in hand. The alien was about his height, with features that seemed almost human, yet strikingly different. Where a human would have hair, she had delicate crystal formations that shifted color slightly with each labored breath. Her eyes suddenly snapped open, revealing irises that looked like swirling galaxies. She tried to move but cried out in pain, a sound like wind chimes in a storm. "Easy there," Tom said softly, holding up his empty hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm here to help. You're safe now." The alien's skin began to pulse with weak colors, blues and greens that shifted and changed. The universal translator in Tom's suit crackled to life, trying to make sense of what appeared to be a visual language. "Analyzing communication attempt," the computer stated. "Preliminary translation. Danger. Must warn. Weapon." The alien tried to sit up again but fell back, her crystalline features darkening in what Tom guessed was pain. He reached for his medkit, pulling out the basic medical scanner. The readings it gave made little sense. Her biology was like nothing in the medical database. "Look," Tom said, speaking slowly and clearly for the translator. "I don't know what's chasing you, but right now we need to treat your injuries. Can you understand me?" The colors across her skin shifted to a soft blue, and she gave a slight nod. The translator beeped. "Understanding confirmed." Tom pulled out a general-purpose healing gel, the kind designed to work on most carbon-based life forms. "This might help with the pain, but I need to know if it's safe for your kind. Can you tell me what you are?" Her response came in pulses of light and color that the translator struggled to process. "Crystal people. Healing methods different. Need. Light energy." Tom's mind raced. "Computer. Adjust cargo bay lighting to full spectrum. Maximum safe intensity." The lights brightened, and immediately he saw a change in the alien's condition. Her crystalline sections seemed to drink in the light, becoming slightly clearer. "Better," the translator conveyed as colors rippled across her skin. "But injuries, too severe." Tom noticed dark cracks spreading across what seemed to be vital areas of her crystal structure. Working on instinct, he pulled out his emergency repair kit, usually used for fixing cracked ship windows. "This repairs crystal structures. Would it help?" The alien's eyes widened, and a burst of hopeful yellow pulsed through her skin. "Yes, but must be precise." For the next 20 minutes, Tom worked carefully, following the alien's color-coded instructions. He used the repair tool to seal the worst cracks, while the bright lights seemed to give her strength. Slowly, her breathing became more regular. "Thank you," the translator rendered from a peaceful blue pulse. "I am safe. You're on my ship now," Tom assured her. "I'm Tom Miller, Human Defense Force. Can you tell me your name?" She emitted a complex pattern of lights that the translator couldn't begin to process. Seeing Tom's confusion, she pulsed a simpler pattern. "Call me Rose," the translator provided. "Named for your earth flowers. Beautiful, yet fragile." Before Tom could respond, the ship's alarm system suddenly blared to life. "Warning," the computer announced. "Multiple vessels detected entering the sector. Energy signatures matched debris field wreckage." Rose's skin turned a deep, frightened purple. "They're coming." Tom's hands flew across the ship's control panel as multiple red dots appeared on his radar screen. The approaching vessels were bigger than his small scout ship, and they were moving fast. "Computer, time until enemy ships reach our position," Tom asked, already plotting escape routes through the asteroid field. 4 minutes until contact," the computer responded. 5 vessels detected. Class: unknown. Weapons: Active. Rose's crystalline form pulsed with urgent red patterns. The translator struggled to keep up. Must. Hide. They will. Destroy. Everything. We need to get you to the medical bay, Tom said, helping Rose to her feet. Her crystal body felt surprisingly light, almost hollow. She leaned heavily against him as they made their way through the narrow corridor. The ship shuddered as Tom helped Rose onto the medical bed. Computer. Activate stealth systems and shut down all non-essential power. Warning, the computer announced. Full stealth requires shutting down life support to minimal levels. Medical bay systems will be affected. Rose's skin flickered with weak purple light. No, need life support. For me. Save. Power. Tom looked at her with concern. The medical equipment is helping you heal. We can't just. A violent shake interrupted him as something exploded nearby. The computer's voice came urgently. Impact detected. Asteroid destroyed by enemy scan beam. They are searching systematically. Rose's colors shifted to a deep blue, and her translation came through clearer than before. Listen, my people, we heal through light energy. But they can track active power signatures. Must shut down, hide in darkness. Tom understood. Their pursuers were hunting for energy readings, and the medical equipment was like a beacon. He made his decision. Computer, shut down all power except minimal life support and stealth systems. Divert remaining power to engines. The medical bay went dark, lit only by the soft glow emanating from Rose's crystalline body. In the dim light, Tom could see the cracks in her form slowly spreading again. There has to be a way to help you, Tom muttered, checking his medkit again. What about your escape pod? Any medical supplies in there? Rose's response came in weak pulses. Pod has. Healing crystal. But too dangerous to retrieve. Another explosion rocked the ship, closer this time. The computer spoke in a whisper. 2 minutes until enemy ships reach our position. Stealth systems holding. Tom made a quick decision. I'm getting that crystal. Computer, keep her stable. He turned to Rose. Which part of the pod? Her colors swirled with concern, but she answered. Hidden compartment. Under main console. Small crystal. Glows white. Tom sprinted back to the cargo bay, his boots clanging against the metal floor. The enemy ships were getting closer. He could see their searchlights sweeping through the asteroid field through the small window. The escape pod lay where they'd left it, its crystalline surface now dark and lifeless. Tom climbed inside, feeling under the console with his hands. His fingers found a small latch. 30 seconds until enemy contact. The computer warned. The compartment clicked open, and Tom felt something warm inside. He pulled out a crystal that glowed with pure white light, about the size of his palm. The moment he touched it, he felt a strange tingling in his hand. Running back to the medical bay, Tom could hear the enemy ship's engines now, their deep rumble passing frighteningly close to their position. Rose, he whispered urgently, reaching her side. I've got it. What do I do? Her colors had faded to an alarming gray, but they brightened slightly at the sight of the crystal. Place it on main crystal cluster, my chest. Tom carefully placed the healing crystal where she indicated. The moment it touched her, both crystals began to glow brightly, too brightly. Computer, full power to stealth now, Tom ordered desperately. But it was too late. Through the ship's window, he saw one of the enemy vessels turn sharply toward them, its weapons powering up with an ominous red glow. They had been spotted. The enemy ship's weapons glowed bright red in the darkness of space. Tom had seconds to act. His military training took over as he jumped into the pilot's seat. Hold on, he shouted, slamming the ship into a steep dive. The enemy's energy beam missed them by inches, turning a nearby asteroid into dust. Rose's voice came through the translator, stronger now thanks to the healing crystal. More ships coming. They are the guard. Elite hunters. What do they want? Tom asked, weaving the ship between two large asteroids. His small scout vessel had one advantage. It was far more nimble than the larger pursuit ships. Rose's crystal form pulsed with anger and fear. I refused to help them build weapons. My research. They wanted to use it for war. When I said no, they marked me as a traitor. Another blast rocked the ship. The computer's voice was urgent. Shield strength at 60%. 3 enemy vessels approaching from behind. 2 attempting to flank our position. Tom's mind raced. The asteroid field was both a blessing and a curse. It provided cover, but one wrong move would destroy them just as surely as the enemy's weapons. "Your ship," Rose said suddenly, her colors shifting to a determined blue. "Let me connect to it. My people's technology. I can help." Tom glanced at her. In the dim light, her crystal form was glowing stronger. The healing crystal doing its work. Connect. How? Instead of answering, Rose pressed her crystalline hand against the ship's control panel. Immediately, the displays changed, showing new information in strange, flowing patterns. By the stars, Tom breathed as he watched his ship's systems transform. The power readings jumped, shields strengthened, and the engine response became instant. "Better," Rose said through the translator. "Now fly." Tom grinned and grabbed the controls. With Rose's improvements, the ship moved like nothing he'd ever flown before. They twisted through the asteroid field at impossible speeds, the enemy ships falling behind. "They're charging something big," Tom warned, watching the energy readings spike on his enhanced displays. "What are they?" A massive energy wave erupted from the lead pursuit ship, turning everything in its path to crystal, including the asteroids. The wave spread out like a net, trying to trap them. Crystallization beam. Rose's colors pulsed with urgency. "They will freeze your ship, make us float forever." Tom watched as the wave approached from behind, transforming everything it touched into glittering crystal. He noticed something about the pattern of asteroids ahead and got an idea. "Rose, can you divert all power to the engines for 10 seconds? Everything else, including life support." Her colors swirled with understanding. "Yes, but we will have only one chance. Computer, plot a course through the densest part of the asteroid field. Rose, on my mark, give us everything." The crystallization wave was getting closer. Through the viewport, Tom could see the pursuing ships, their crystal weapons charging for another shot. Now, Rose's form glowed brilliant white as she channeled power into the engines. The ship shot forward with incredible speed, straight toward a massive cluster of asteroids. The pursuing ships followed, their crystallization wave just seconds behind. Tom waited until the last possible moment, then yanked the controls hard. Their small ship screamed through a tiny gap between 2 enormous asteroids. Behind them, the crystal wave hit the asteroid cluster, instantly freezing everything in a massive crystal formation. The pursuing ships, too large to follow Tom's maneuver, slammed into the newly formed crystal wall. Computer, damage report on pursuit ships. 3 enemy vessels disabled. 2 breaking off pursuit. Alert. Ship power critically low. Rose disconnected from the control panel, her colors showing exhaustion but also triumph. "You did it." That was impressive flying. Tom allowed himself to breathe. "We're not safe yet. They'll send more ships." He turned to face Rose. "I think it's time you told me exactly what kind of research they wanted to steal from you." Rose's crystal surface dimmed slightly. "Yes, you should know. Because they won't stop hunting us until they get it." Her color shifted to a serious deep blue. "I discovered a way to grow living crystal ships. Ships that could think, heal, and bond with their pilots." Tom looked at his now enhanced vessel, understanding dawning on his face. "Like what you just did with my ship?" "No," Rose replied, her colors pulsing gently. "What I did with your ship was basic. What they want is far more powerful and far more dangerous." The damaged scout ship drifted in the shadow of a large asteroid. Inside, Tom listened intently as Rose explained her research. her crystalline form casting soft light through the dimmed cabin. Our ships were always part crystal. Rose's colors shifted as she spoke, the translator working smoothly now. But they were simple tools. I discovered how to grow them with awareness, like living things. Tom watched as she created a small crystal in her palm, demonstrating. The crystal grew and changed shape, responding to her thoughts. And your people wanted to use this for weapons. The guard saw the potential for war, she replied, her colors darkening to a sad purple. Imagine ships that could heal themselves, grow weapons, and think for themselves. They wanted an unstoppable fleet. The ship's computer interrupted. Warning. Power reserves at 30%. Life support systems running on backup. Tom checked the readings. The battle had drained their resources significantly. We need to find a safe place to recharge. How far are we from human space? Rose connected briefly to the ship's systems, her crystal hand glowing where it touched the console. 2 days at current power levels. But her colors flickered with concern. Your life support won't last that long. There's a solution, Tom said, pulling up a map of the sector. The asteroid we're hiding behind. The scanner shows it's rich in crystal formations. Could we use that somehow? Rose's colors brightened with surprise. Yes, the right crystals could power your ship. But she hesitated, colors swirling with uncertainty. It would require changing your ship further, making it more like my people's technology. Would that be dangerous? No, but Rose's colors shifted to a gentle blue. It would create a permanent bond. Your ship would never be quite human technology again. Tom looked around at his small scout ship, remembering all the missions they'd been through together. Well, girl, he patted the console, ready for an upgrade. Rose's colors sparkled with what might have been amusement. You speak to your ship like it's alive. Maybe you understand my research better than you know. They suited up carefully. Tom's spacesuit was standard human defense force issue, while Rose needed no protection. Her crystalline form was perfectly suited for space. Together, they exited through the airlock. The asteroid's surface glittered with crystal formations. Rose guided Tom to the ones they needed, her body glowing to provide light. As they worked, she taught him about her people's technology. Crystal responds to thought and emotion, she explained, showing him how to shape a power crystal. It's not just science. It's about connection, understanding. Tom watched in amazement as the crystals in his hands began to glow faintly, responding to his touch. I think I feel something, like a hum in my mind. Yes, you're naturally receptive. That's rare among non-crystal beings. Rose's colors shifted to an excited gold. This is what the guard doesn't understand. The technology can't be forced or controlled. It must be learned, respected. As they worked, Tom noticed Rose watching him with her galaxy-like eyes. What is it? He asked. You saved me without hesitation. Her colors pulsed softly. Risked your life. Altered your ship. All for someone not even of your species. Why? Tom continued carefully placing the crystals as she had shown him. Where I come from, we have a saying. The right thing to do is still right, even when it's hard. Couldn't just leave you to die. Rose was quiet for a moment, her colors swirling with deep thought. Finally, she spoke. My people once believed in such things. Before the guard took control. Before we lost our way. The last crystal clicked into place, and the entire formation began to glow with a soft blue light. Power flowed into the ship, but it was different now. Tom could feel it, like a living pulse. It's working, Rose said, her colors bright with success. Your ship is. Suddenly her colors flashed urgent red. At the same moment, the ship's alarm blared. Multiple ships detected, the computer announced, its voice somehow different, more alive. They found us. Get back to the ship, Tom shouted, but Rose was already moving. Her crystal form glowed brightly against the darkness of space as they rushed back to the airlock. The enemy ships appeared from behind the asteroid field. 5 large vessels, shaped like crystal spears, their weapons charged with an ominous red glow. "This is Commander Vale of the Crystal Guard." A new voice boomed through their communication system. "Surrender the traitor, and your ship will be spared." Tom sealed the airlock and rushed to the pilot's seat. Rose connected to the ship's systems, her hands glowing where they touched the controls. The newly installed crystals pulsed with energy throughout the ship. "I have an idea," Rose said, her colors shifting rapidly. "The ship is part crystal now. If we work together, whatever you're planning, do it fast," Tom replied, watching the enemy ships move to surround them. "They're trying to box us in." Rose's galaxy eyes fixed on him. "Do you trust me?" Tom met her gaze and nodded without hesitation. "Yes." "Then close your eyes. Feel the ship, like I showed you with the crystals." Tom closed his eyes. At first, he felt nothing but the familiar hum of his ship. Then, gradually, he sensed something more, a presence like a living thing responding to his thoughts. "The ship," he whispered in amazement. "I can feel it. We are connected now." Rose's voice came both through the translator and somehow directly into his mind. "All 3 of us. Now let's show them what that means." The enemy ships opened fire, but before Tom could react, the ship moved on its own, dodging with impossible speed. He could sense the danger before it came, the ship responding to his thoughts faster than his hands could move. "Impossible." Commander Vale's voice crackled through the comm. "No human vessel can move like that. All ships, maximum firepower." The space around them lit up with crystal energy beams. Tom and Rose moved as one with their ship, weaving through the assault. The new crystals hummed with power, strengthening their shields and enhancing their weapons. "They're still trying to cut us off from human space," Tom observed, feeling the enemy's strategy through his new connection to the ship. Rose's colors flashed with determination. "Then we go through them. Your flying skills, my crystal technology, and the ship's new awareness. Together." Tom grinned. "Hold on tight." He pushed their connection deeper, feeling Rose's crystal energy merge with his combat training and the ship's enhanced systems. Their small vessel shot forward, becoming a blur of speed and light. The enemy ships fired their crystallization beams, trying to freeze them in space. But Tom could sense the patterns now, seeing gaps in their attack formation that would have been impossible to spot before. They rolled and twisted through the barrage, the ship moving with the grace of a living thing. One of the enemy ships got too close, and Tom instinctively activated their new crystal weapons. The blast hit with perfect accuracy, disabling the larger vessel's engines. "How are they doing this?" Tom heard the enemy crew's panicked communications. "It's just a small scout ship." "No," Commander Vale's voice shook with rage. "It's her research in action. Destroy them. Destroy them now." The remaining 4 ships launched everything they had. Space itself seemed to crystallize around them as dozens of energy beams converged on their position. In that moment, Tom felt something extraordinary. The ship's consciousness touched his mind, showing him exactly what to do. Rose's crystal energy flowed through the ship's systems, and together, they did something that should have been impossible. Their small scout ship phased into crystal form for a split second, becoming energy rather than matter. The enemy fire passed harmlessly through them. Now, Rose's colors blazed like a supernova. While they're surprised, Tom didn't need to be told twice. Their ship rematerialized behind the enemy formation, weapons charged with crystal energy. "This ends now," he said quietly, targeting their engines. The real battle was about to begin. The battle ended as quickly as it began. Tom and Rose's combined abilities proved unstoppable against even the Crystal Guard's best ships. Their small scout vessel, now enhanced with living crystal technology, moved with impossible grace as they disabled the enemy vessels one by one. Commander Vale's ship was the last to fall, its engines dark and weapons systems failing. The mighty Crystal Guard vessel now drifted helplessly in space. "This is impossible." Vale's voice crackled through the comm system one last time. One human and a traitor. How? Tom opened a communication channel. Because we work together. Something you and your guard never understood. He looked at Rose, whose colors swirled with triumph and relief. It's over, Commander. Stand down. Through the viewport, they watched as emergency lights flickered on across the disabled enemy ships. Escape pods launched from their hulls, carrying crews to safety. They're retreating, Rose said, her galaxy eyes shining. For the first time in years, the Guard has been defeated. Her colors shifted to a soft, grateful blue. And it's because of you, Tom. Tom shook his head, smiling. Because of us. All three of us. He patted the ship's console affectionately, feeling the warm response through their new connection. Speaking of which, I think our girl needs a new name. She's not just a scout ship anymore. Rose touched the crystal-enhanced panel, her colors showing joy. In my language, we would call her Harmony, a fusion of different natures working as one. Harmony. Tom repeated, feeling the ship's consciousness approve of the name. It's perfect. The journey to human space took less than a day with their enhanced systems. As they approached the border patrol station, Tom could sense Rose's nervousness through their shared connection. They'll listen, he assured her. Humans have been hoping to make peaceful contact with advanced species. Your research, your technology, used the right way, it could change everything. Rose's colors shifted thoughtfully. A partnership between our peoples, not for weapons, but for exploration, discovery. The border patrol station hailed them as they approached. Tom explained the situation, and within hours, the station's command center was filled with amazed human scientists and officials, all listening intently as Rose demonstrated her crystal technology. Incredible, the station's chief scientist said, watching Rose grow a small crystal garden in the palm of her hand. The applications for this technology, space exploration, medical science, clean energy. All of this is possible, Rose agreed, her colors bright with hope. If our peoples work together, like Tom and I did. The human officials exchanged excited looks. One of them, an admiral, stepped forward. We would be honored to establish diplomatic relations with your people, the true representatives of your culture, not the guard that twisted your research. Tom watched proudly as Rose began discussing the details of cooperation between their species. Through their ship's connection, he could feel her joy and relief at finally being able to use her discoveries for peace rather than war. Later, as they stood together in Harmony's cockpit, looking out at the stars, Rose turned to Tom. What will you do now? Tom smiled. Well, someone needs to help demonstrate how humans and crystal beings can work together. And this ship. He felt Harmony's happy hum through their connection. She needs both of us to reach her full potential. Rose's colors danced with happiness. A crystal scientist and a human soldier, exploring space together. Why not? Tom grinned. We make a pretty good team. As if in agreement, Harmony's crystal systems pulsed with warm light. Through the viewport, they could see more human ships approaching, ready to escort them to Earth. And beyond them, the endless expanse of space beckoned, full of possibilities for their unique partnership. Ready for another adventure? Tom asked. Rose's answer came in a bright burst of joyful colors that needed no translation. Together, they guided Harmony toward their next destination, their shared connection humming with the promise of discoveries to come. Sometimes, the bravest choice is to trust someone different from yourself. And sometimes, that choice can change not just two lives, but the future of entire civilizations. The end.